Our next inductee, Erin O'Grady, met with early success as a youth player in Glastonbury and with world-class soccer in Windsor, Connecticut. At World Class, she won 3 Northeast Regional titles, 9 Connecticut Open Cup competitions, and the United States Amateur Soccer Association's Women's U23 National Championship in 2000. At Glastonbury, Erin earned All-American, Parade, and NSCAA, All-New England twice, All-State, and All-CCC Conference 3 times. Erin may be Syracuse University's all-time best player, having led the team in scoring and points each of her 3 years, was the assist leader in 2000, and holds career records for points, goals, having 49, game-winning goals, and games played. She was Syracuse's Player of the Year in 2000 and Rookie of the Year in 1997, and is in the Syracuse Soccer Hall of Fame. As a pro, Erin played at the highest levels available at the time. She was a 2-time W League champion with the Boston Renegades. She was a Women's United Soccer Association champion with the Boston Breakers. She is a Women's Professional Soccer League finalist with the New England Mutiny and was their team captain. She earned the W League Tournament Most Valuable Player with 2 goals in the final in 2002 and had her number 9 jersey retired with the Mutiny and is in the WPSL Hall of Fame. Her former world-class coach, Tom Goodman, said, "Erin was one of the hardest working players I ever had, even in training. She was tough, quick, agile, and a leader. As a striker, Erin was quick off the mark and very fast. She knew when to keep the ball close and when to push it past and beat her defender with speed." And that all showed up in the number of goals she scored and her outstanding record. And tonight we're inducting Erin for her achievements as one of Connecticut's greatest players. Please join me now in welcoming Erin O'Grady into the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame.
Hi everyone. Thank you guys for all coming. I'm humbled to be included in the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame class of 2026 with all these incredibly talented players, coaches, refs, I added that in after, and ambassadors of the game of soccer. I don't normally answer phone calls on Sunday afternoon if I don't know the phone number, but when Bill Duffy was on the other line telling me the reason for the call was that I was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, I was so glad I answered the phone, and it was worth the risk of learning again that my car warranty was up. I just want to start with my tremendous gratitude for Bill and the entire committee for putting on this amazing event. Incredibly humbling to look out at players I've played with and against, teammates that have helped me get here, coaches who have made a world of difference, not just in me as a player, but in me as a human. And then my family who shows up for me no matter what. The bio that Bill read, I'm incredibly proud of, but soccer's given me so much more than championships, awards, and records. It gave me a place where I can be myself, a place where my over-the-top competitive nature was not only accepted, it was often rewarded. And most importantly, the one place in my life that my anxiety didn't run the show. At the time, I didn't know what soccer meant to me. I just knew that the best part of every day was when I was on the field with my teammates. In the past few years, I've become a sports parent, and I'm on the sideline, usually with a lollipop in my mouth, so I can keep my opinions to myself. It's a great trick for any of you that would like to take on that tip. I realize how lucky I am that I played for so many coaches who created safe environments for me to learn, fail, struggle, overcome, and succeed both on and off the field. Playing for Glastonbury, World Class, Syracuse, Boston Renegades, Boston Breakers, and the New England Mutiny. My coaches not only taught me the game, but they did it in a way that I knew I was cared about as a player and as a person. It wasn't always sunshine and rainbows. If my mom was still here with us, she would tell you about all the phone calls and all the car rides with me crying and doubting myself and afraid of letting my coaches down and afraid of letting my teammates down, that I just wasn't enough. But I do want to share a few shout outs to the people who truly shaped me and my life throughout soccer. First, Mr. Goodman. It doesn't matter how old I am, he'll always be Mr. Goodman. The rest of my coaches all get a first name, not Mr. Goodman. He's in the class of 2009 Hall of Fame, and Mr. Goodman is the one who helped me fall in love with soccer. Before you, I was a kid who played soccer, and then after you took over our world-class team, I became a girl who's determined to play at a higher level and recognized that the power was within me to do it. A switch flipped the year you took on our world-class team. You offered, anytime you want to come and learn something, let me know. I'll meet you before practice, I'll stay after practice, and you just tell me what it is. As I said earlier, soccer was the only place that anxiety wasn't my number one emotion. And so more time to be on a field with a coach who made me feel great about myself, absolutely. But the biggest change that happened was it empowered me to realize I got to take the reins, and I could say, hey, I need to work on my finishing. I need to work on my first touch, always. And he would design a session, and he would show up early, he would show up late. Now that I've coached my own kids, that's a lot. I was so ready to go home after every practice. And yet you had made that commitment to us. And what happened was we all loved it. I have a bunch of my world-class teammates here with me tonight. And then we were like, oh, you want to work on shooting? I'll stay and work on shooting. Oh, you need to do defending? I'll come, I'll be your attacker. And so we all started buying in and letting him know what we knew we needed to work on so that we could be better. And I have no doubt that's why we all had successful careers at Division I. And it came down to your commitment. Thank you to Michelle, your lovely wife, who allowed you the space to be what you were to all of us. I wouldn't be the player I am or was without you. There's also no way I'd be standing up at this podium without April Cater, my Syracuse coach. When Manya saw her name on my speech, she was like, oh, you play for April. I mentioned it was not all sunshine and rainbows, but the difference was if a player knows that the coach cares about you, they can push you in ways that no one else can. It's that care that I've heard from you guys. That's the missing piece in some of our coaches. You're willing to go to the ends of the earth for a coach who cares about you. And what April did in my career, early freshman year, at halftime, I remember her saying, who's marking you? I was like, I don't know. She was like, you don't know who's marking you? I'm like, no, I'm just playing. And she looked at me, she goes, if you don't know who's marking you, how do you know if you're faster than them? How do you know if you should beat them to the left or to the right? How do you know if, and she kept going, and by then my eyes were like rolling back in my head. I had never, ever thought about someone else on the field and how that would impact my game. And that was a turning point that changed me from someone who went out and played by instinct and played like a chicken with my head cut off, with often reckless abandon for my own health, as one of the announcers put it at Syracuse. But it changed my game into be someone, she taught me to dissect the other team, to dissect the defense, to look at our game plan and see how I could make a difference and make my game to the next level. And she's the reason that I scored way more goals on a mid-level team in the Big East than I did as on a top team in the CCC West. Because she taught me those intangible things, how to defend as a forward, how to interpret and know when the defender was about to lose the ball. And that made all the difference. Was she hard and scary? Yes. Did I cry a lot? Also, yes. Yes. However, I knew she had my back, always. Always, no matter what. And that is what made the difference. It was okay for her to yell at me. It was okay for me to be scared when I made a mistake because I knew as soon as I stepped off the field, she had my back. Tony Horta is another coach who I wouldn't be standing up here without, because he nominated me. He was in the class of 2018, can't be here tonight because he's off in Portugal living his best life, but he did send me his best. The important lesson I learned from Tony is that you can be insanely passionate as a coach, even tiptoeing towards the boundary of being scary. But if you create a team environment and you show your players you care, it's still safe and collaborative. He was my final coach with the New England Mutiny at the end of my career at 27 and 28 years old. And I was so honored to captain those teams and work with Tony and his team of assistants as we molded a group of high school players, Karen Gernon, all the way up to me at 27 and 28. Leading into my wedding, we had high school players getting ready for the prom and me getting ready for my wedding on the same team. The perfect description of Tony took place in a locker room in Pennsylvania on one of our away games. We were losing at halftime with the Mutiny, we were playing terrible, and Tony was not having it. And he had the whiteboard up and he had the red and blue magnets for the different teams and moving around, we need to do this and you need to do that and this is what's happening on the other team. And we're all looking around at each other like, I don't know really what he's saying. And so as the captain, as the oldest player on the team, I was like, I gotta take this bullet. And I raised my hand and I go, Coach, are we the red or the blue? Now, I told you he could be a little scary. He paused, he smiled, and then he laughed hysterically, and as did the entire team. And that's the difference. Coaches don't have to be soft to be safe. They need to let their players be safe to speak up and to hear their voice. He was awesome. I really wish he was here to hear that story. Another person I need to thank is Joe Ferrara, the owner of the Mutiny. After the WSA folded and I came home to become a teacher and start my adult life, Joe took Alexa and I out to dinner and was like, he had this whole PowerPoint, he was like, we want you guys to come play for our team. Like he was selling us on it and we were like, we don't have anywhere else to play, okay. Sounds good. Oh, we're going to Vegas this year? Yes, I know. And as I turned that page into adulthood and started my teaching career, I got to continue playing soccer. I got to be an adult during the day, and at night I got to go on the field. And I got to continue in the happiest environment that I had. And that couldn't have happened without Joe and the commitment and the energy, the time, the money, all that he puts in to the semi-pro team and league that he helps to run. I know that running a semi-pro team is neither glamorous or lucrative, but thank you from the bottom of my heart for creating that environment for players after college who aren't ready to hang up their cleats. The years with the Mutiny felt like borrowed time on my soccer career. So every single road trip, locker room dance party, team party with the red lady and palm trees, they all felt so special because I knew many people at the age of 27, 28 don't continue to play at such a high level. It wouldn't be right to thank Joe without helping Jill, because nothing with the Mutiny could happen if it wasn't for Jill behind the scenes. And every Mutiny player thanks you, Jill. Finally, my teammates, my favorite part about playing soccer was being on a team, and that is the part that as an athlete, when your time is over and you've hung up your cleats, that's the worst part, is that you're no longer part of a team. You don't have those people by your side on your good days, on your bad days. A really special bond is formed when your friendship starts with knowing we all have weaknesses, we all have strengths, and we're gonna combine them all for the greater good of our team. That bonding is usually solidified through endless fitness sessions, winning huge games, losing heartbreakers, and spending hours on the bus together before there were cell phones and we had nothing else to do but play games and talk to each other. That's why decades after suiting up with teammates, I can still reach out and ask for advice, share a funny meme, cry about a hard season in life, Years can go by without a word or a text, and then it picks up right where you left off. That bond with teammates is something that obviously you guys have all experienced as your people are here with you tonight. And I'm so lucky to have 4 of my besties with me. These 4, Murph, Lex, Sina, and Stace, from world class. We've been friends since we were teenagers. That awkward time in life where you weren't even comfortable in your own skin, those are the girls that made me be okay and be comfortable in my skin. Since then, they've been by my side through the hard things, the sad things, the scary things, the exciting things, the hopeful things. Without you guys, I couldn't be myself as a teenager, as a 20-something, or in my 40s. When I'm with you guys, my anxiety is gone, my nervous system is settled, and my stomach usually hurts from laughing so hard. Thank you guys for everything you've continued to do for me every day. I want to also thank my family. You guys are loud and awesome. Thank you so much for coming to celebrate this accomplishment. I'm overwhelmed seeing you all here, but I'm not surprised in the slightest how many of you have shown up. You guys have shown up for me my whole career, no matter what team I was playing on. One of my favorite memories is playing at Providence College before they had the new stadium. And it was just a field in the middle of the campus with a road that went by and a big long chain link fence. And you can bet I had about 20 to 30 family members lining that fence, cheering my name, cheering for the Syracuse team, and just knowing that they had my back. Thankfully we won, it was 1-0. But the support that you guys have always provided is second to none. Thank you to my dad. He's always been my #1 fan and my unofficial PR manager. He never misses an opportunity to read off those stats that you went over, Bill. Someone recently said, "Hey, you undersold yourself. You didn't tell me all your statistics." I said, "Why would I say that? My dad does that. I don't know." Finally, I have to shout out my biggest influence on my soccer career and my life, my mom. Jane O'Grady was CJSA's Parent of the Year in 2000. She was the manager of both my world-class team and my ODP team. She not only helped organize all the trips and logistics for world-class and ODP, but she always kept me from letting the anxiety win. She taught me that being scared, crying, or panicking was valid, but it didn't need to stop me from doing what I loved. To Chad and Whit, my 2 kiddos, thank you for giving me the opportunity to continue to be involved with the sport I love, this time as a coach. I'm sure it wasn't always easy to have your mom as your coach in the Portland Soccer Club, but the chance to coach you both is one of my greatest honors. I know I didn't always do it right. I may have held you 2 to higher standards, may have complimented the other players more often, but I'm so grateful I got to be on the field with you, watching you grow as players and as people. Thank you to the Portland Soccer Club for supporting me today. Some of you probably haven't even heard of Portland. It's a super tiny town between Cromwell and Middletown and Glastonbury. Being on the board of directors and coaching for the Portland Soccer Club gave me such insight into all that goes on behind the scenes to create a place to play for students and players and kids. As a kid, you show up with a ball and a water bottle and kick a ball, you play, right? Being part of the Portland Soccer Club Board of Directors, I learned how many hours go into it, how difficult it is to find refs, how difficult it is to get the field and to get the parents all the information and then get them all to the field with the right uniform on. But I'm so grateful that I got a chance to see that back, kind of pull the curtain back. One of my friends who's here today was my assistant coach, Steph, for our son's teams. In one practice, she said, "Gosh, Erin, watching you coach is like watching an animal in their natural habitat." And I just started laughing because it was true. Like, the soccer field is still where I feel the most like myself. Chadwick Portland Soccer Club, thank you so much for the opportunity to stay involved in soccer long after my playing days were over. No matter how stressful work was or life was, getting to end the day on the soccer field with players having fun, learning to work together, and play this amazing sport helped center me and come back to happiness. Soccer's given me my greatest lessons, a respite from hard times, and the best friendships of my life. So proud to be part of a community that's making soccer available and amazing for the next generation. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. This is an amazing honor.